episode 76 of the Battle of Ohio podcast. The Browns dominated in the 96th Battle of Ohio, and unfortunately, I'm here to eat crow. Sort of. I still have a few things to say that I was totally right about, and we're going to get to that too. But the Bengals have a lot of work to do heading into their bye week. Right now, they're out of the playoff race after being the AFC's number one seed just 2 weeks ago. But anyway, we're recording this ahead of the Monday night game, and honestly, I'm not too worried about the outcome of that one. Because why, Thomas?
Because Steelers suck. And, I know I picked the Bears to win that game, but the Steelers to win that game. The Steelers to win that game. But I don't know, man. I don't know, Cal.
Well, you said the same thing. Like when we did the live stream of Bengals Jim's tailgate, you kind of changed your mind about the Ravens too, and look how that worked out.
Man, I was close. I was close, man. Close, man. That's the whole thing.
That's not saying anything when it's the Vikings. When the Vikings play close games, they lose.
I wasn't wrong though. Like everything, all my concerns about the Ravens are true.
Welcome to the Battle of Ohio podcast, where we follow the revival of the historic rivalry between the Cincinnati Bengals and the Cleveland Browns.
The whole thing with the Ravens and the Vikings, and we'll get to that game later, we'll talk about the state of the AFC North, was my concerns about the Ravens are true. And my theory, when I said that this is going to be a division between the Browns and the Bengals, I still think that that's going to happen. I think it's shaping up to be like that. And we're going to get to that.
We'll talk about the Ravens more on the state of the AFC North. We'll get to them later. But I've got a couple of things to say about that thing that you just said. So remind me later. But for now, right. What are you drinking tonight, Thomas?
Today, I am drinking a Busch Light. And the only reason I'm drinking a Busch Light is because I realized it was in my backpack because I was like, oh, crap, I got extra beer. And I remember why I have extra beer. Shout out to those wonderful people that rode in the car with me. What's his name? Nate? What's his name? Nate? Kyle? Shout out to Nate, y'all. Thanks for the Busch Light, bro. Appreciate you. Yeehaw!
His name's Nick, by the way.
Oh, Nick. Okay.
You remember because he's got the fantasy team, and he's the one who accidentally made the bot, and the bot's called Nick's Nice Team.
Yeah, but he's the Browns fan though, right?
He's a Browns fan. He's
cool.
He's gonna give me so much shit at work tomorrow. I'm not prepared for this. I am not prepared for this. No, he's not. No, he's not. I like him. This whole week, there are 0 Browns fans who are cool people. Even you, Thomas.
I take that.
I am not prepared for this week, man. I am not prepared for this week. You know what's going to help me through being prepared for this week? Jack Daniels. Jack Daniels.
Dude, I really do think that you have a lot to be positive about.
Well, I'm joking, by the way. I'm not actually drinking Jack Daniels. I don't have that kind of stomach tonight. I guess what I'm drinking today, I'm drinking Perpetual IPA from Treg's. But I'll tell you what, I feel like drinking something a lot stronger. And as far as the Bengals, having a lot to be excited about, I mean, sure, yeah, but there's nothing that you can point out from that game that, I mean, except for maybe like Joe Burrow played pretty good outside of the 2 interceptions. Outside of that, there's nothing for the Bengals to feel good about in that game. That was just a complete crap show, all across the board. Like what? What did they do? Other than like Joe Burrow had some good plays.
But like
Joe Mixon had a good game.
Don't y'all have a bye week next week?
Yeah.
So I mean, y'all going to the bye at 5-4.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's compared to where we thought we'd be. That's nice.
Well, no, because here's the thing though, and we're gonna get to this. We're gonna get the reason why I said what I said is because when I'm looking at this, see, like, cause like Kyle, like, all right, so like you gotta always think about how I don't know if you caught on to this about me yet or not, but I look at things at their potential, not at what they are. So
well, yeah, as a Browns fan, I'd imagine you're used to that.
But that's what I always do. I'm always looking at stuff down the line. I'm never looking at what is something now. I'm always looking 2-3 moves ahead.
Okay, but so the problem is they're supposed to be good now. They went out and they blew out the Ravens 2 weeks ago. Now they lost to the Jets and they got blown out. It's not that the Browns are a terrible team to lose to. If it had been a close loss, nobody'd be feeling like the sky's falling in Cincinnati. The reason everybody's upset is because we got smacked 41-16 in our own house. That's why everybody's upset.
But see, you just sit there on a coffin. You say it feels like the sky is falling.
But yes, the sky is not falling. No, it's not. I'm not here to say that.
That's what I'm getting at, because that's the whole thing about football, though, because football is the only sport where you only play one game a week. So, it's not like in basketball or baseball, you have a bad game, you get kicked around, you just come back and just win the next day or something like that. You got to wait a whole week. So, you
have a lot less breathing room because you only have 17 games.
Yeah, you only have 17 games. So everything is condensed more. Now here's the positive thing. You're going to bye. You got a 5-4, and when I say you got to look at how things are going to be, what the Bengals are doing. What I mean by that is the Bengals' play style is sustainable. Their way of scoring, their way of winning.
Well, defense, it ain't.
Well, no, but who knows? That defense could gel. That defense could get better as they get colder.
Well, and they were better earlier. That's the infuriating.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
They just randomly it seems like whoever I forget the name of the Jets defensive coordinator. No, the offensive coordinator, Mike LaFleur. So it seems like Mike LaFleur figured out the Bengals defense, and they can't. And then the Browns figured out based on what the Jets did. And the Browns did a little bit more. They took a few more shots downfield. But the point being that this defense just looks like a catastrophe, the same kind of catastrophe that everybody thought that we were going to see at the beginning of the season. So the first 7 weeks was great, but it's just like it looks like they've regressed now.
Well, okay, so look, all right, so I'm sitting here watching it, right? And so the whole thing is that so you have a great quarterback. You have not a good quarterback, a great quarterback. He
needs to work on the interceptions, but other than that,
he does need to work on interceptions, but that'll come with time. You have a great quarterback. You have a generational talent. You have a generational talent at receiver. You have a really good running back, and you have a really good.
It sure didn't look like it on Sunday.
Well, I mean, there was that whole Myles Garrett, Jadeveon Clowney thing.
No. Jamar Chase didn't look like it on Sunday.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah.
Jamar Chase looked like everything that we were worried about in the preseason.
That's because they bullied him, man. Honestly,
that shouldn't matter at all. Joe Burrow threw a dime to him for what should have been like an 80-yard touchdown, and he drops it. Yeah, just stone cold drop. T. Higgins did the same thing. Now, not for like an 80-yard touchdown, but he had one in the end zone. Jamar Chase and T. Higgins both had touchdowns in the end zone that would have gone to the end zone. And that would have changed the whole complexity of this game. And then you also want to take in that random ass pick six Joe Burrow threw at the beginning at the end of the first drive. And I know you think that Denzel Ward made a good play, and Denzel Ward did make a good play.
It was also a great play.
It was also a horrible throw by Joe Burrow. You can't throw it there because that's the only place from where Denzel Ward was on that play. That's the only place Joe Burrow could have thrown it to where Denzel Ward would have had a chance to pick it. You cannot throw it there, Joe Burrow. I don't know what you're doing. And so the thing is, you take that T. Higgins touchdown off the board, you take that Jamar Chase touchdown off the board, and then you have that 14-point swing at the beginning of the game. Suddenly this is a ball game. If those three plays don't happen, or if those three plays get reversed, then this turns into the shootout that me and you were talking about at the beginning when we were on the Battle of Ohio podcast live at Bengal Jim's tailgate. We thought it was going to be a shootout, and it would have been if just a couple of stupid things hadn't happened. We would have gotten a good game, but they just dropped it through their fingers.
I think the Browns defense deserved a little bit more credit than that. The Browns defense did look pretty good.
The Browns defense played great. I am not trying to take a single thing around from the Browns team overall.
Can I say this though?
I'm just saying that the Bengals completely crapped the bed. The Browns did a really good job of putting them away. The Browns did a really good job of punishing them for the mistakes that they made. But I'm just saying that it takes two to tango, and in this particular case, that game is not as bad of a blowout if the Bengals play better. And that Browns defense, I mean, I'm not saying the Browns defense doesn't get stuff done, but the Bengals were playing really well against them on the majority of the plays. You know, they were driving down the field. It was just some crazy stuff that happened that kind of turned that game on its head. But for the most part, I mean, you saw especially those first two drives. The Bengals were basically unstoppable on those first two drives. You know, they were just driving down the field, driving down the field. Joe Burrow throws that pick six, drives him back down the field, and goes and gets a touchdown. So, yeah, the Browns' defense did not really play that great at the beginning of the game. And Myles Garrett had a good game. Denzel Ward kind of looks like he had a good game, but in reality, he benefited from partially him doing a really good job, and also partially Joe Burrow making a really bad throw.
He had a 99-yard touch, and then he had a break, and then he broke up another pass that led to another interception, though. He had a deflection that led to an interception.
Was he responsible for that interception? I don't quite remember that particular interception. You're acting like I'm saying Denzel Ward didn't have a good game. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying Joe Burrow was bad on those plays.
Look, Kyle, I 120% get what you're getting at. But honestly, I just think that it was just a perfect storm on things that we just did not think about. Hindsight, I didn't think about. I didn't realize the Bengals were going into a bye. Mm-hmm. I don't know why that always messes with me when I'm looking at football games. There's something about teams going to buys. I don't know what it is. It's really hard to like I ain't saying I don't know statistics. I just know a lot of teams tend to lose before a bye. It's very common that teams come off slogans right before a bye.
Well, it's very common for the Bengals, like historically, ever since Marvin Lewis came to town. Historically, it's been a trend. I don't know exactly what the numbers are, exactly what their record is, because I haven't looked it up in a few years. But after a bye week, the Bengals are really have a really bad win-loss rate. After the bye week. So I mean,
after or before.
After. Now, granted, we're talking about a trend that was mainly Marvin Lewis's trend, and then obviously the trend continued with Zach Taylor, but that's because the team was so bad. So you really don't know what you're getting in. I'm not saying they're going to lose after the bye week this week. I'm just saying if we're talking about the bye week, that's a trend that exists for the Bengals when it comes to the bye week.
So, you want to hear positivity for the Bengals before we go on my Browns?
You say whatever you want to say positive about the Bengals. I don't feel horrible about the Bengals. I think they had a really bad game, but I'm not jumping ship or anything like that. I'm not saying the season's over.
So you shouldn't, and I'm happy you're not. I'm happy you're not on here saying. I'm happy you're saying positive about this. I still think the Bengals are going to make a long run. I think that this is going to be. I don't think that we can beat this team twice. Or I think we can, but I think it's gonna be hard to. Because the Bengals are a team that Bengals are a young team, and they're doing the same thing. They're going with the same thing Browns are going through, trial and error. And this is one thing about the NFL. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they did not look like a Super Bowl winning team until like week 12 last year. People forget about how slow their start was last year and how they just kind of treaded water for the most part, and they were mediocre for the majority of the season until after the bye. It was after the bye where they just took off, right? So now the Bengals lost to the Browns. Fine. The Bills lost to the Jaguars. The Kansas City Chiefs barely beat the Aaron Rodgers-less Packers. This is a very competitive NFL. This is a very competitive AFC. The NFL is very diverse and more diverse than it's ever been before. The Bengals have a generational talent at receiver and a generational talent at quarterback. They will be fine. They're going to go into this bye.
I actually just looked it up, and you made a startlingly good point. I didn't realize it actually lined up this closely. But now the Tampa Bay Buccaneers didn't go on bye until week 13 last year, so there's a little bit of a difference there. But here's the thing: they started out 6-2 last year. They did get off to a really hot start. You know, they lost their first game, they won 3 in a row. They lost their fifth game, then they won 3 in a row, and then they lost 3 out of their next 4 heading into the bye. Very similar to what the Bengals are dealing with right now, losing 2 games ahead of going into the bye. But before that, they started off 5-2 before that. So very similar to what you're talking about with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now the Tampa Bay Buccaneers went on to not lose another game the entire season. Now I don't know if the Bengals are not going to lose an entire game the rest of the season. That would be a little ridiculous. But I will say everybody's talked a lot about. And we'll talk about this more on the next episode because it's the bye week and we'll be talking about what's coming up and stuff like that. But I will say real quick, just noting the rest of the schedule, everybody's talked about how hard the Bengals' second half of the schedule is. But the way the season's actually been playing out, I think there's maybe 2 or 3 teams that are oh, that's going to be a tough game. And other than that, it's I don't know, man. Look at all the problems the Raiders been having. They just cut Damon Arnett. And that's the third major controversy they've had in the last 4 weeks. So I don't know. It's hard to juggle that many distractions.
They're going to pick up Odell, so that's another distraction they're going to have.
You think they're going to pick up Odell?
I can see it happening. Yes.
I actually, was somebody asked the question on Twitter, which would be the best place for Odell to go to, and I actually said the Raiders because that would make sense. He needs to go somewhere where they're having issues with health at wide receiver, and somewhere where he can be the number 1 guy. A lot of Bengals fans were saying, "Hey, Bengals, you should go get Odell Beckham Jr." And I'm like, "Are you out of your mind?" He's gonna have the same problem he had in Cleveland. Where he wasn't getting enough targets, and then he turns into a crybaby about it.
So y'all get 2 weeks to prepare for the Raiders. That's more than enough time for the Raiders. They got the Steelers. They're going to embarrass the Steelers. The Chargers aren't, like you said, the Chargers aren't as good as they were, but it's still a good team. The 49ers, you know what somebody said on the radio about the 49ers?
What's that?
Is that they have the 49ers got a coach that had 1 good season and been riding that 1 good season. But honestly, he gets more pass than any other coach in the entire NFL.
Because he's really smart. But the main reason he gets really a lot of pass, because he's really smart, he also gets a pass because the 49ers have just been the most injured team of all time over the past 2 years.
There was that offense that he ran in Atlanta. Well, he was the reason why Atlanta went to the Super Bowl. Let's be real, because Atlanta has been good ever since he left.
Well, yeah, but I mean, at the same time. I know the defense gets a lot of the blame for 28-3, but at the same time, don't forget that offense didn't score again after they were up 28-3.
Just true. Very true.
That offense could have 1 field goal would have won that game.
The Chiefs aren't as good as they were. The Ravens, by the 26th of December, the Ravens are not going to be the Ravens. And we're going to get to that. I got something to say about the Ravens and the Steelers. The whole thing is that I think the defense could bounce back for the Bengals. I think the defense could get back to respectable. I think the defense could get back to where they need to get to, where they could get timely stops. And on top of that, I think that the receivers are going to explode. And with the AFC being as competitive as it is, anybody can lose in any week. You're going to see the AFC beat up on each other. And there might be a little bit more wiggle room than we think it is. I just think that it looks intimidating because you got a lot of good teams on the top, but those teams got to play each other. So it has to balance out. It naturally has to balance out. It literally has to balance out. So it's going to balance out. Anyway, my point is because because the Bengals is easily finish ahead of the Browns. Easily, y'all can beat us on the first, and a whole bunch of stuff can happen. Y'all can easily finish in front of us. So I'm not even going to take my victory lap per se because the season isn't over. But I will say this: I do think they're going to finish ahead of the Steelers and the Ravens.
Well, I do think the Ravens.
I do.
Well,
I do.
We'll talk more about that later.
But the Browns.
But, yeah, let's go ahead and talk about the Browns. One last thing I want to say about the Bengals before we talk about the Browns. I hope that you're right that the defense can bounce back. But the thing is, the defense is the biggest problem right now. The offense was not great against the... there were some major mistakes the offense made, and those mistakes really hurt them. So the offense is sloppy right now. But the thing is, every mistake the offense is making right now is very fixable. Joe Burrow needs to make some better decisions. Jamar Chase needs to hold on to the ball. T. Higgins needs to hold on to the ball. T. Higgins needs a little bit more awareness of what's going on during the play at any given time. The offensive line is really not doing too bad. The Bengals maybe need to scheme up a little bit better protection, like scheme-wise. The schemes need to be a little bit better. But, the individual players are all doing all right. Except maybe some penalties. But penalties can be fixed pretty easily. On the offense, everything that's going wrong right now is fixable. And it's only really been this one game that the offense was just catastrophically bad. The offense did fine against the Jets. The offense has done fine all year. The offense has done great in some instances, like against the Ravens. They were fantastic. And they were sloppy against the Browns, but they weren't catastrophic against the Browns. It was the defense, really, that just couldn't stop a nosebleed. And, I hope that you're right, that the defense can bounce back. And I actually agree with you. I think defense can bounce back. Now, whether they will bounce back or not, I don't know. I haven't really... this is what the defense is playing right now. This is the Bengals defense that we're used to. This is what we, have been seeing for the last couple of years. And this is why, it's a little concerning, even though it's only been 2 weeks, it's really concerning because it's turning into a pattern now. And this is what we're used to seeing. And it's just worrisome as is the Bengals defense regressed back to where they used to be? And if they are, can this offense go out and score 40 points every single game? And the answer is no. They've only done that once this year. And now they've had the opportunity to do it multiple times, but they always have one or two mistakes a game that makes them unable to really hit that 30-point mark or that 40-point mark. They've been able to hit 30.
You can't win the Super Bowl in week. You can't win the Super Bowl in week. You can't win the Super Bowl in week 9.
Well, that's true. Let's speaking of week 9 though, let's go ahead and talk about the Browns, because the Browns, like I said, I wanted to be clear that I think this game was as big of a blowout as it was because the Bengals kind of beat themselves and the Bengals were sloppy. But I do think the Browns absolutely do deserve credit for taking advantage of what the Bengals gave them when the Bengals gave it to them, and just in general being really disruptive, especially Myles Garrett. Holy hell, Myles Garrett. That guy is something else.
Well, let me say this first of all. I didn't like the late hits that they had on Joe Burrow. And by the way, bad job on the officials. So the officials been the officials, all right, so the officials, what they would do is they weren't doing a good job. They just let it happen, though, on the low. And so bad, one roughing the pass, but they were doing, roughing the pass, that one roughing the, they didn't give that roughing the pass call until, the fourth quarter. And then, that one in the fourth quarter they gave it to you, they took a huddle, and it happened, right before the next play started. It's hey, by the way, roughing the passer. There wasn't even a flag thrown. They got a huddle. It was you don't play. I'm talking about, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
So bad job on them. Bad job on officials for that. They should have done a better job of protecting Joe Burrow. He didn't get that Tom Brady protection. But other than that, man, that pick by Denzel Ward. Let me tell you, Kyle, I didn't realize how many Browns fans were in that stadium until that pick of Denzel Ward happened. I thought there was when we were there, we was tailgating and everything, I was oh, there's a lot of Browns fans here. But I didn't think there were that many Browns fans there. When he picked that ball, I'm damn, near half this stadium is Browns fans. Not half, but near half. I would say probably about.
That's not 40%. Terribly surprising. Browns fans always tend to show out pretty well for games in Cincinnati because it's a really short drive. It's one thing if, the Los Angeles Chargers pack our stadium, but it's another thing, of course the Browns are going to, pack the stadium, because not only is it a short drive from Cleveland, but there's a lot of Browns fans in Cincinnati, too.
Yeah, I know. That my uncle told me. He was there's a lot of Browns fans here. So, by the way, I enjoyed my stay in Cincinnati. It was a nice little... It was nice little visit. I enjoyed it. It was good vibes. It was good vibes. The weather was great. But I didn't realize how many Browns fans were there until that pick from Denzel Ward, and the place went nuts. I was just I looked at my dude. I was whoa.
Yeah, I got that on video too.
Oh, I wish I did. I someone told me to take out my phone and start recording. I didn't. But
I was gonna do a game day vlog for my YouTube channel, because I've been doing live streams of the away games. I'm planning on doing vlogging my experience of going to the home game and like putting that on the channel. But the problem is I accidentally deleted half my videos, so I wasn't actually able to. I thought I uploaded them and then I deleted them and then the upload failed and I thought the upload had already gone through. So,
oh my God.
So I kind of ended up not being able to produce that video.
So do you still have the video from yesterday, or that upload that fell?
You mean from the live stream?
No, like did you delete all the video? Were you trying to vlog the videos from yesterday? Were those videos that got deleted?
No. I was trying to vlog like walking down to the stadium and then being in the game and like the Denzel Ward interception.
Yeah, you had that on video and you deleted it.
I thought I uploaded it to Google Drive. I may have like half of them did get uploaded to Google Drive, so I can't remember if that one did or not. But the point is that half of the videos got deleted.
If you have a video of that, man, if you have a video of that, send me that, please.
I'll look.
All right, cool.
I'll look. I might have that one. I either have all the videos from the first half or all the videos from the second half. I can't remember which one.
All right, so
although I'm not gonna lie, it's probably the second half.
I hate you.
Sorry.
I really hate you. But before we get to that, we're just gonna ignore that because I'm actually kind of pissed off about that right now. Really, I was having a good day till that moment. You just ruined my whole day right there.
I just shouldn't have told you I had that.
Why? That's what I'm saying. Like, why would you even tell me that? Get me all excited.
Well, first of all, I forgot that I deleted the video.
So I had this puppy for you, Thomas. Yeah,
but
a puppy. Yeah, but an eagle came down and swooped it up, and like, no.
That's actually a good analogy because it was an accident.
I didn't need to know about the eagle coming down, swooping up and eating the puppy.
Hey, so you know one thing that I want to personally point out about the Browns, because it's the one thing that I actually get to brag about coming out of this game, the one thing that gives me a little bit of solace, and that is the fact that I was 1,000% right about Odell Beckham Jr. I was so 1,000,000,000,000,000,000% about him honestly holding this team back, being a locker room cancer, and look what happens when they get rid of him. Donovan Peoples-Jones explodes. This Browns offense really gets going. The Browns have only... I actually wrote this up for the Power Rankings article that's going to come out on atbnetwork.com. But the Browns have only scored over 40 points twice this season, right? And the other time they did it, Odell Beckham Jr. only got 2 catches. So what does that tell you about Odell Beckham Jr.'s impact on this Browns team? I think they're way better off without him.
Man, dude, I'm gonna be real with you. Man. Like, you were right about I just couldn't believe that you could take somebody with that much talent off the field and it makes that much difference. But it's literally true. Like, he literally been holding team. But it makes sense. If he's out there freelancing like they say he is, and he doesn't play instructions of an offense, and because I gotta be careful what I say, because like Odell could go to another team. Because Odell's talented. He go to another team and he could explode. People won't be like, oh yeah, you're a clown for clowning Odell. I hear people say that already. I am not the one saying Odell's not talented. I'm not saying that at all.
I never said he wasn't talented. I said he's an idiot.
I think what the Browns prove, the whole Odell Beckham Browns thing, because I think Odell will go somewhere and be really good. Like, if Odell
what it proves is that real life isn't Madden.
Well, yes, exactly.
You can't go get a 99 overall player and plug him into a system and just expect him to still be a 99 overall player.
Yeah, that's what I was going to get at. Is that football isn't football? You got to play the game, and football is a lot about fit. So you could literally have somebody in the wrong system, and they perform and I don't understand why people didn't catch on to this before. This has happened. We've seen this happen so many times with players playing one system and they're great, and play another system and they're horrible. I mean, look at Ryan Tannehill.
Look at the opposite there, but yeah.
Well, but that's what I'm saying though. Is that it's insane?
I'm not gonna lie. I don't think he was. I think his career in Miami is a little underrated for real. I think he did better in Miami. I mean, I'm not saying he was good in Miami. I think they were right to try to move on from him because he wasn't getting the job done. But I don't think people act like he was a big bust, and I don't think he was. I don't think he was that bad. I think he was
better
fine.
than Brandon Whedon. Way better than
Brandon Whedon.
Yeah. Well, because like I remember when Brandon Whedon was drafted, there was this whole big debate who was better, Ryan Tannehill or Brandon
that's right.
Whedon.
He was part of that draft. I forgot.
Yeah. And the Browns went with Brandon Whedon. They should have just stuck with Colt McCoy. Because
I remember when y'all drafted Brandon Whedon and my dad just like was you remember when I told you that I was laughing so hard about when they drafted Johnny Manziel. That was about how my dad was laughing when they drafted Brandon Whedon. He texted me. He's like, they got an 80-year-old man who they just drafted at quarterback.
All right. So get on to the Browns offense though. We talked about Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett had a great game. They was freaking triple blocking him. Denzel Ward had a great game. Greedy Williams, his injury's not as serious as we thought it was. Greg Newsome had a pretty solid game. Besides some of those drops that Jamar Chase had, he probably would have burned him a little bit more. But that offense, man, Nick Chubb. What
137 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Like he just never like anytime I watch Nick Chubb play, I'm like, yeah, this is Hall of Fame talent right here.
That 70-yard run he had just completely killed any semblance of hope that the Bengals had at that point. After that run happened, game was over.
He does it so smoothly though, because like you don't really like. Was that your first time ever seeing Nick Chubb break off a big run like that in person?
Yeah, maybe. I think this might be the first Bengals-Browns game I've seen in person since probably like 2004.
So this is the first time you've seen Nick Chubb and Baker Mayfield in person and stuff.
Yeah, I think so. Don't quote me on that, but I think so.
So when I first seen Nick Chubb break off a big run like that, I was in Baltimore. Was it in Baltimore? Yeah, I was in Baltimore last year. Or it was not last year, a few years ago. And when the Browns played the Ravens in Baltimore, they beat them, and Nick Chubb had that crazy game. And he had that big run. And I just remember watching him like, dang, like, it's crazy how fast he is. Because he's like, it just happened in a split second. And then like just seeing it in person is just different. Seeing it in person is just so different because it's like, because like when you watch him, like you don't expect it to happen. You don't like when you watch the play, you don't go like, oh, this play is gonna be a 70-yard run, but you just watch it progress, and he just slowly get faster and faster and faster. And that thing, you know, this man outrun everybody. I'm like, holy cow! And then like he just keeps on going, no matter who the hell is in front of him. This dude, Nick Chubb, is insane. Like, say what you want about Baker Mayfield, but what the hell are you gonna say negative about Nick Chubb? That man, god damn, Chubb. God damn. Right. Nick Chubb is really good. Baker Mayfield had a good game, too.
Baker Mayfield did have a really good game. I still, I was talking a lot of trash at the, in the parking lot about how Baker Mayfield ain't no MVP. He certainly played like one. Now, I still don't think he's gonna have any chance of winning.
Oh, yeah, he's not going to MVP.
But he played like one against the Bengals. He certainly did. Like I said, I wanted to emphasize going into this, how badly the Bengals played, and that was a big aspect of why this game ended up as bad of a blowout as it was. But that isn't to take away anything from the Browns. The Browns played a fantastic game, and that can't.
You're a good dude. You're a good partner. See, thank you. All right, Baker Mayfield played a good game.
Let's move on to the underrated players of the week. So I'm going to go ahead and go first here because, to be completely honest, I'm having trouble thinking of anybody for the Bengals. But I'll go ahead and go first here and give you an underrated player for the Browns. So I'm going to say, and this one, I'm not sure if this one quite counts because we talk about him a lot here on this podcast, but in general, he hasn't exactly had the most electrifying career, except when he plays the Bengals. For whatever reason, whenever he plays the Bengals, he just goes he goes nuts. He goes off. And that's Donovan Peoples-Jones. So Donovan Peoples-Jones had a 91.8 grade per Pro Football Focus, had 86 yards on 2 receptions. He only caught the ball 2 times and got 86 yards. Well, that's because one time he had a 60-yard catch, but the other one was 20. He was only targeted 3 times, got a touchdown, 86 yards out of it, and he was just completely unbelievable. It was like how we try like we had no ability to stop this guy, and a lot of it was just the fact that Eli Apple was the main one who was covering him, and Eli Apple went back to being like I've come on this podcast and I've apologized to Eli Apple, like, Eli Apple, I've been calling you a liability and you've been playing great the last few weeks. Well, you know what? He was a liability again this week. He was terrible.
Man,
massive touchdown catch that Donovan Peoples-Jones had, that was all Eli Apple just getting completely worked.
It was also a pretty ass throw.
It was a very nice throw, and it was a great play by Donovan Peoples-Jones. But it was also complete, just like it was Eli Apple being Eli Apple. That's what it was from our perspective.
Thank you, Eli Apple. You're Cincinnati's innocent Sanjehu.
Yeah, pretty much. All right, so what about you? Who you got for the Browns?
Okay, so I'm not gonna do the Bengals. Oh yeah, okay. So for the Browns,
well, you will, but after we finish the Browns,
I got you. Okay, so for the Browns, underrated player of the week, I'm gonna go with Harrison Bryant.
Okay.
Simply because, like, I just like the fact that he's getting back on the field. Actually, I'm a heavy tight end here, but I was trying to think about it because, like, I didn't want to go. I wasn't going to go. I knew you were going to go Peoples-Jones. I really want to go defense. Actually, you know what? No. Sione Takitaki, for real. Takitaki has some big plays, has some big tackles.
But I think you also maybe go AJ Green because that passing broke up.
Yeah, AJ Green did look good. So there's a lot of ways I could go. The reason why I said Harrison Bryant in the first place because Harrison Bryant had some big catches down the stretch. He only had 2 catches for 26 yards. Mm-hmm. He had more than that, but still, it's probably because every single one of his catches were big first down plays, and he just did a good job of driving the ball down the field, and he was just another weapon out of all our tight ends, and it's just so great. It goes back to the fact when you have so many good tight ends, when he's doing well, the other 2 tight ends tend to do well as well. And the kid got a bright future. We're gonna lose one of these tight ends. They're gonna go somewhere and ball out. Watch. I don't know which one, but we can't keep all 3. But we got
probably David Njoku. He's the one who's been asking out.
No, I mean, but he bought in though. I think the one that we most likely lose is Hooper.
Maybe.
Because you might be able to re-sign Harrison Bryant to a cheap deal, but I think Hooper's the odd man out here.
All right. So who do you got for the Bengals then?
For the Bengals, I was actually gonna go tight end again. And go Drew Samples.
That's a good one.
Well, because what's funny about that was because I was gonna go. That's why I was tempted on not picking Harrison Bryant. I don't want you to think I picked. I was picking tight end. But no, I generally like Drew Samples for a few reasons. Because Drew Samples had a couple of big catches down the stretch when it came to gaining momentum for the Bengals. And you talk about there were times where Joe Burrow started to look comfortable, and he looked comfortable when he was passing to Drew Samples. So I really like the way he used Drew Samples. And I thought CJ Ujama took over that tight end spot, and I thought that he was going to be your primary great tight end. But Drew Samples seemed to show everybody that he's still a really good tight end. I liked watching him last year. Seeing him play in person is always well. He's a really good tight end. He's a really good pro. So long term, I have 2 really good tight ends on this team. The Bengals are going to be set on offense for a while.
Mm-hmm. All right. Yeah. Drew Sample has been really getting a lot of flack this year because he's just been completely disappeared. He hasn't done a single thing all year, really. CJ Uzama has been doing a great job holding the tight end room down, but Drew Sample has been looking more and more like a bust every week. But you're right. Drew Sample was a big reason why we didn't get shut out in this game. Drew Sample, had some good catches. He had some good plays, and it was actually kind of fun. I was up there. A lot of his plays kind of came after the game already kind of felt over. But I was talking to my dad. And I was like, hey, look, it's Drew Sample. Drew Sample's doing something. Isn't that nice? He had a good game. All right, so, Thomas, I'm going to blow your mind here for a second, all right?
Yeah, I'm listening.
You know who I'm going to make my underrated player of the week?
Samaje Perine.
Hell no. Did you see that third down drop he had?
Yeah.
Hell no. Samaje Perine can eat rocks.
Yeah.
I am mad at you, Samaje P. Ryan. No. You know who I'm going to make my underrated player of the week, Thomas? You'll never guess. I promise you, you'll never guess.
Chris Evans.
He didn't play.
I didn't think so. That's why I was like, why would you make him?
No,
I was like, did he play? Did he play? I was thinking to myself, did he play? And I not seen it. You're not gonna say Eli Apple, right?
No, he was bad. He was bad.
Yeah, you already roasted him. So are you gonna say Ogunjobi?
No, he didn't do good either. He missed a bunch of tackles.
He's not really that underrated for real. So
well, he's a little underrated, but he had a bad game.
Are you gonna say the punter?
No, he had a bad game too.
Yeah. Now I don't know who you gonna say. Joe
For the
Burrow?
people who are listening to on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, my underrated player of the week is Joe Burrow.
Okay, you know what's funny is that I was literally, what's funny? I was literally about to say, Joe Burrow really didn't have that bad of a game.
Yeah, well, that's why I'm making him my underrated player of the week, because he's getting killed all over the place. Like I was watching Tom Grossi do GPS with Brandon Perna, and he mentioned something. He said Joe Burrow's bad now, and I'm like, all right, what? Joe Burrow bad? I mean, he's had he's throwing a lot of interceptions. In fairness, he's on pace right now to throw about as many interceptions as Andy Dalton threw in Andy Dalton's worst season throwing interceptions. Although to be fair, that was also one of Andy Dalton's best seasons as a passer. He just happened to throw a lot of interceptions too. The point is, I think Andy Dalton was slinging it, and he was just taking more chances, and that's why he threw more interceptions. So Joe Burrow is on pace to throw about 21 interceptions this year, which isn't good, but it's also not like the worst season anybody's ever had for interceptions. But some of them have been bad. Like some of them have been really badly timed. That one against the Jets last week, absolutely killed any chance that we had to make a comeback. Really, that one against the Browns at the very beginning of the game. Like I said, that's a 14-point swing. That's a big part of the reason we got blown out is because you take 7 points off of the Bengals, because the Bengals were on the 3-yard line. They're about to get a touchdown. You take 3 points off of the board, or you take 7 points off of the board for the Bengals, or at least 3 points off the board for the Bengals, and you give the Browns 7 points. So that's at least a 10-point swing, if not a 14-point swing. So yeah, he had some really bad plays that looked really bad. But a big part of the reason he played really bad was because Jamar Chase and T. Higgins were just absolutely terrible with trying to catch the ball this week. I mean, it was just ridiculous. Like I said, Jamar Chase dropped that one catch that would have been like an 80-yard, completely rejuvenating kind of touchdown. That would have sparked a comeback. I tell you, if Jamar Chase catches that ball, I think the Bengals come back and win that game. I really do.
I think they would have. I was expecting y'all to come back and make it competitive. I don't know. I was waiting for it. I was waiting for the big play from Jamar Chase. Well,
he was targeted 13 times and only caught it 8. That's the big thing about him. But here's the thing: Joe Burrow was dropping dimes throughout a lot of the game. His final stats don't look great, but it's because his receivers just weren't pulling stuff down. Samaje P. Ryan, he had the Browns dead to rights on what could have been maybe a touchdown play, because Samaje P. Ryan had all the room in the world to try to make some cuts and stuff like that, but he just dropped the ball. Bengals end up on 4th down, and I think they went for it on 4th down, and Tyler Boyd didn't get open enough, and we ended up turning the ball over on downs on that particular drive. But regardless of all of that, Joe Burrow still threw for nearly 300 yards. He did throw 2 interceptions, and the interceptions were bad. He was also sacked 5 times, and there were a couple of times where I felt like, hey, dude, you got to throw the ball away. So I'm not saying he had a perfect game by any means outside of the drops or outside of the interceptions. He definitely, had some stuff to work on. But at the end of the day, people are acting like Joe Burrow had this all-time bad game. And in reality, Joe Burrow's team really let him down around him. That was a big part of what happened this week. So it's you switch around those Jamar Chase drops, those T. Higgins drops, that Samaje P. Ryan drop, suddenly Joe Burrow's completion percentage goes up to 75%. his yardage goes up to nearly 500 yards of offense, and he has like 3 touchdowns. I mean, it's just ridiculous the amount of missed opportunities that Joe Burrow gave the Bengals this week. That the Bengals like weapons that are supposed to be this like great, amazing team just completely dropped the ball on. It literally, actually. So yeah, Joe Burrow is my underrated player of the week for the Bengals, and not because he's an underrated human being or anything like that. Everybody's like, Joe Burrow. I mean, I got everybody in Cincinnati's got a Joe Burrow jersey. But because Joe Burrow's getting so much flack for losing this game, and at the end of the day, I don't think it was Joe Burrow's fault. I just think he's the most visible one because he threw that interception. He threw both of those interceptions, but he threw that pick 6 that had the 10 to 14 point swing.
I see. Like the thing is, though, I just don't think that pick 6. I think that pick 6 was just a great play by freaking Denzel Ward.
It was a good play by Denzel Ward, but it was not just a good play by Denzel Ward. It was a bad decision by Joe Burrow.
Straight out of Macedonia.
All right, Thomas, let's go ahead and move on. We need to talk about this fantasy league.
Oh, I do.
Talk about what's going on here. So, I believe we both won our games. The Bears and Steelers game just started. I believe it's still early in the first quarter. No scores have happened, but a lot of games in our leagues have already been decided because nobody's really going to be picking up Bears players for their fantasy team, and we also run a Bengals Browns podcast, so a lot of people in our fantasy leagues aren't really going to want to have Steelers players on their team in the first place. So a lot of these games are already finished, or at least a lot of teams are already finished.
I mean, who on the Steelers you going to put in your fantasy league anyway?
Najee Harris.
Okay, well, besides him, who else?
That's probably it. But Najee Harris.
Maybe
Juju
Claypool?
before he got hurt.
Maybe Claypool?
Yeah. Claypool probably.
But they averaged like 19 points a game.
That's still good.
Like exaggerate. I'm not exaggerating. Like they literally averaged 19. But that's not good to average 19 points a game.
Oh, I thought you mean Chase Claypool was averaging 19 points a game.
No, I mean the Steelers as a team averaged 19 points a game. I'm not even exaggerating. I'm pretty sure that's what it is.
Yes. No, the Steelers aren't like the ideal team to have anybody on your fantasy team. I'm just saying, there are a couple of players who you could have, but in our league, you're not really going to see a lot of people who want to. But I mean, probably Najee Harris is on some team. Probably Chase Claypool's on some team. And then, I mean, maybe somebody's got Justin Fields. I can't think of anybody who. Maybe Allen Robinson. But other than that, I can't think of too many people. But anyway, I won my game against John Dorsey from Nobody's Perfect, which is impressive because Kyler Murray was out, and I didn't switch my quarterback out. So I could have had an extra 21 points from Kirk Cousins, but I played Kyler Murray, who didn't play. So that was terrible. And but I had a really good game from the Kansas City defense. Daniel Carson had a real good game. George Kittle had a real good game. And Joe Mixon, as bad as the Bengals were, like I said, Joe Mixon actually had a pretty good game against the Browns.
Yeah, he had 2 touchdowns. I mean, like, shout out to Joe Mixon, by the way. I know we talk about underrated players, but
Joe Mixon was the whole reason we were in that game. We weren't in that game, but like before it really broke open, Joe Mixon was the whole reason we had much of a chance.
Well, Joe Mixon's going to be cause Nick Chubb is like such an insane talent, but Joe Mixon is a really, 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 really freaking good running back.
Yeah.
He's a really good running back. I just think Nick Chubb might be
impressive because I was actually mad when we drafted him. Not because I was mad about like I wasn't so much worried about the domestic violence or anything like that because I was like, bro, he was a freshman when that happened. It's like, people make mistakes. Like, let's move on. I didn't want him because I'm like, bro, we got Jeremy Hill and we got Giovanni Bernard. Little did I know that Jeremy Hill would end up being like a complete like nothing. And also, Giovanni Bernard is not a starter. Like, as much as I love Giovanni Bernard, obviously he's one of my favorite players of all time. As much as I love him, he's not a starter.
See, I think what it is though for Joe Mixon yesterday is like Joe Mixon looked good yesterday, but like he went against Nick Chubb, who's a generational talent.
Yeah. So Thomas, you won your fantasy game this week.
Oh yeah,
and you lucked out, bro. Like because
I didn't even look at it.
Exactly, that's why. Because you had 2 players who didn't even play. You had Latavius Murray who was out. You have Devontae Parker who went on IR before the game.
Okay. Okay.
But you kind of lucked out. You started New England's defense that played really well against Carolina.
Yep. Fucking
Baker
Carolina.
Mayfield.
Trash ass quarterback.
Baker Mayfield had a good game, and I'm going to take credit for that one because I encouraged you, if you recall, I encouraged you to start Baker Mayfield.
You did? Encouraged me.
So you had a good game from Matt Gay, the Los Angeles Rams kicker.
Yep.
And Stephon Diggs had a pretty good game. But you also lucked out because you're the first person this year to benefit from playing the bot. Because the bot is finally getting to the point where there's like bye weeks, and he didn't sub out. I'm talking about like the bot, like he's a person. The bot did not sub out.
The bot might be a girl. You never know.
The bot did not. Well, it's called the name of the bot is Nick. So it could be Nikki.
So you never know.
Nicole.
You could be called Nick. How many girls you know named Ryan?
Named who?
Ryan.
Ryan?
Yeah.
None. What does Ryan have to do with anything?
I know 3 girls named Ryan.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
Like their birth name is Ryan.
That's interesting. But the bot forgot to sub out. Well, they didn't forget. It's the bot, so he just didn't do it. Didn't sub out the Washington defense. Also left Kenyon Drake, Naheem Hines, Marquez Callaway, Evan Ingram, all on the bench, and they had huge games. So, I mean, obviously the bot's not going to sub them out, but like had a human been, doing this lineup, a human might have seen, hey, maybe these guys might have a good lineup this week. So, Thomas, you kind of lucked out because you didn't have a good game. Your team scored 71 points.
The best way to win.
By default.
Yep. Take that, you bot. All right, now
So-
I see. I didn't have time to pay attention to fantasy football. I was too busy paying attention to football.
The only other game that I really feel is worth mentioning here, because like nobody really had a good game this week. Like fantasy football across the league was down this week. But I will say, let's see. I guess I was wrong. Maybe that was next week. So you had Hanging with Hernandez, which is John Dorsey, playing Ian Plank. And it's looking like Ian's probably going to win that game, which is good for me because I won my game, and I need Jordan Heiser to lose, and I need Michael Dorsey to lose. Right now, looks like Michael Dorsey is on pace to lose. Jordan Heiser is not, but you know what? Whatever. I'll take anything because I need to get I don't really care about the number 1 seed. This isn't like the real NFL playoff seedings. I just need to get the number 2 seed so I can get that playoff bye. That's all I care about. I want to advance to the championship semifinal by default. The best way to win.
Can we talk about how I'm like with making a comeback?
Yeah, we should. You're you're gonna be 4-5.
Wow, I didn't know how I did that
this week.
I'm about to be honest though.
That's why I was telling you, don't worry too much.
I am literally sleepwalking back into this league. I'm sleepwalking back into the league. Don't let me get focused, y'all. Because I haven't made no waiver moves at all. Besides getting rid of Henry Ricks the third.
Well, also you didn't you get rid of that one Cleveland running back?
Oh yeah, Cream. I didn't get rid of him. I just benched him. He's still on my team, right? I don't think I got rid of him.
Oh no! I was thinking there's Demetri Felton. You still have him in. For some reason, you're still starting him. That's not going to be a good move going forward. You're not going to get lucky every week, Thomas.
I know. I should probably take him out. Watch the minute I take him out, he's gonna blow up. Like I didn't even play Donovan Jones. Like that was a great pickup, and I haven't played him.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we'll see if he's a great pickup.
Like I put Devontae Parker in over Donovan Jones.
You got that New England defense playing great though. That's a big thing.
They won't be playing great next week. That's for sure.
We'll see exactly what happens there.
That's gonna be fun.
Well,
That's the only
anyway,
game we got next week.
Let's go ahead and move on to the state of the AFC North. So, what were we talking about with Baltimore earlier? We were talking about you were saying you don't think the AFC's decided yet, which it's obviously
AFC
not.
North.
The AFC North. Hey guys, I need to take a second to tell you about NordVPN real quick. I'm sure you've all heard about it because They're everywhere, and it's for a good reason. This is the absolute best, sleekest, and easiest to use VPN out there. Trust me, I've used a few different VPN services for various reasons, and this is the one that I settled on because honestly, it's like I said, it's the sleekest and easiest to use. It takes 10 seconds to just go get it set up, get connected, and get yourself on a new server somewhere around the world, and then you have access to all of these regionally blocked things. And in addition to that, I personally get a little weirded out by everyone with the basic knowledge of systems and hacking having access to my information. So it's really nice to have, a kind of a buffer between that too. There's also a wide world of regionally blocked content out there that's, the only reason you're not able to access it is because you live in a certain country where this stuff isn't available. So, one service I really like is called NFL Game Pass International. It's meant for the international community. It's not available in the United States, but if you're a United States citizen and you use NordVPN to go connect to, I usually use the Ireland or the Brazil server, and suddenly I'm connected and I'm able to watch all these games. You can use basically any country where the service is actually available. Then I pull up the broadcast, sit back, watch the game. Any game. They have all of the NFL games throughout the entire season on this service. And then you also get access to all the normal NFL Game Pass stuff too. So, replays, all 22, the kind of stuff that's, some people just enjoy having NFL Game Pass for in the first place. I do exactly that every Monday and Thursday night when we do our live streams, where me and Thomas make our predictions or talk about the predictions that we made. We do it during the Monday night and Thursday night games where we're watching the game and reacting. And the way that I have access to that is I have an NFL Game Pass International. So I'll tell you what I'm going to do, guys. I'm going to leave a link down below in the description. And if you go click that link, it'll take you to NordVPN's website, and it'll automatically get you 69% off your first 3 months for free. That's only $3.67 a month, guys. For all the wide world of access and protection that VPNs give you, I think you can spare $3.67 a month. To me, that's a really good deal. And not only, if you go do that, it helps support our channel, and like I said, helps you guys get access to the best VPN network out there. Seriously, I really recommend it. So go down on the link in that description and get 69% off your first 3 months of NordVPN for free.
So, if I remember what I said earlier, I don't think that what the Ravens are doing is sustainable, because I think the division is ultimately going to be a Browns versus Bengals division. Is that what you genuinely
logically think is going to happen, or is that what you emotionally want to think that's going to happen?
No, dude, because the reason why I was so big on the Vikings beating the Ravens is because of the amount of red flags I see with the Ravens, and it's like with the Browns. Like the thing about the reason I wasn't too worried about the Browns, I come saying on the podcast, look, they can fix all these problems. All these problems are fixable. For the Bengals, that loss against the Browns, that was bad, but they have so many weapons, you're not going to keep the Bengals down for long. But when I look at the Ravens and I look at the Steelers, I'm looking at two teams that are overachieving, not underachieving. So people crown people in every single NFL. We do this every single NFL season. We do this every single NFL season, Kyle. We do this every single year. What's the best way to judge past current history or future events is to look at past history. The Browns and the Bengals, they have so much growth. They have so much wiggle room to grow. And that's why I always say I look at things for the potential, not what they are. The Browns and the Bengals, they're gonna get better as the season goes on. They're gonna continuously get better as the season goes on, because that's the way their teams are set up. The teams are set up to be better in January than they are in October and in September. Because in the past couple of years, the Browns have been better in January than they have been in October. Even the Bengals. You look at the Bengals last year; they were a better team. They were even without Joe Burrow. They were a better team at the end without Joe Burrow than they were at the beginning without Joe Burrow. They were learning how to win. They were figuring out ways to win. They beat the Steelers. Y'all beat another team down the stretch, I believe. And yeah.
Or did we beat the Texans or did we lose? I can't remember
who it was. But y'all beat another team down the stretch. the whole thing was that y'all getting better. And I think this Bengals team will get better as the time goes on. I think the Browns will get better as time goes on. I think the Steelers and the Ravens are going to get worse as the season goes on. And I realized this when the Ravens barely beat the Colts. And for them to come out of a bye and to struggle against the Vikings like that's another red flag. They keep on the problem with the Ravens is that those injuries and those problems they have are coming back to bite them, and they can only keep them in a closet for so long. The reality is that their offense and their whole entire team lives and die on Lamar Jackson and Lamar Jackson's big playability. But what's going to happen is when that big play and our home run threat is not there, just take one or two of them away and you lose the game. Just take one away, you lose the game. That game against the Colts, like if that wasn't the biggest red flag in the world, I don't know what is. Like that game against the Colts is horrible. That game, they got so freaking lucky against the Colts, it's ridiculous. I mean, obviously they're going to be like, oh, Lamar Jackson had this great breakout performance, but they didn't say anything against the Vikings.
Well, don't forget the game against the Lions where they, lost.
But that's what I'm saying, though. So now, fine. Y'all beat the Vikings. Fine. Go ahead. Enjoy it, right? But, y'all can talk all this smack about that record and everything. And then y'all got the Dolphins, so of course, they're going to look good against the Dolphins and the Bears. But then after y'all play the Dolphins and the Bears, y'all play the Browns. Y'all play the Steelers, who had a good defense, who probably, on your level. Then you play the Browns again. Then you play the Packers. Then you play the Bengals. Then you play the Rams. And then you play the Steelers. They could very well win one game in the last 6 weeks. I'm that serious. Because I don't think they're going to beat the Browns twice. I think they might split one with the Browns. They're not beating the Packers. They're not beating the Bengals. They're not beating the Rams. And they might beat the Steelers.
Well, you see, that's the thing. The Ravens, I will say the Ravens do kind of remind me a little bit of last year's 11-0 Steelers. You remember they won all those games, but they were close games against a lot of bad teams and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And the Ravens have a lot of similar kind of traits. But the thing is, I keep saying that. I keep saying, look at these games. The difference is the Steelers never had 34-6 blowouts over the Los Angeles Chargers either. So I mean, it's just you can criticize the way that the Ravens are winning these games, but the fact of the matter is they do just keep finding more and more ways to win these games, and it's impossible to discount from my perspective.
Well, we could give
I'm
them
starting to run out of reasons
Chargers
to believe that they're going to lose these games. I mean, they're definitely going to beat the Dolphins next week. They're going to beat the Bears, who are terrible.
What if they lose to the Dolphins next week?
That'd be hilarious. That'd be so
like
great.
honestly, Kyle, I'm real with you, man. I'm telling you, man, this is one of those things that we're gonna wait, and this is gonna be one of those wait and see things. But I just do not believe the Ravens this year.
We'll see.
I just do not believe in the Ravens this year, and I think
want to see what happens when the Browns play them, because y'all haven't played them yet, have you?
Yeah, we haven't. Maybe it's apparent to me because I'm just trying to find things to hate them for, but come on, man, how was that not a red flag? What happened? The Vikings game and the Colts fan game are both red flags to me for the Ravens. I know there should be the people going oh yeah, they're resilient fight, but no, why are y'all giving up these big leads? Why y'all looking one way, one half, looking completely opposite in the last quarter? What's happening? It's like they got a boom or bust offense. Am I not crazy for thinking that?
That is true. It seems like the Ravens quite often just struggle to actually get it going, and they always seem to actually do get it going. They didn't against the Bengals.
They find out one lucky play to get them going, but if that one lucky play doesn't happen, that's what I'm saying. I don't know, man. It's just off. Something's off. I don't know. Something's off. I just do not think that their way of winning. I don't think that their way of playing is sustainable because I think there's a lot of holes in that team. I think it's going to be. I think when you play against more opportune teams in the NFL, they're going to start exposing the Ravens. I think that's coming.
Yep.
The Steelers, I think that they're just playing smart football, and they're just getting by on playing, still
Bad
football with
teams.
their coaches. Yeah, bad teams, and like they're playing Bears right now, so
They
they might.
barely. I mean, they're playing and beating the Bears right now, but I think they're actually up. Was it 14-0 now?
Yeah, but the reason why I don't think the Steelers are sustainable because Ben Roethlisberger gets worse the last 3 years. When Ben Roethlisberger was quarterback, he got worse as the year gone on. He's older, so it's going to happen again. So, excuse me for thinking that. The reason why I'm saying this, Kyle, is because when you look at these two teams.
Oh no, it's 7-0. Sorry.
Yeah, if you look at these two teams, Kyle, the last 2 years, each of them got worse, or each of the quarterbacks got worse going to the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
This is not a crazy theory. Now the Ravens did go on a run at the end of November and December, but Lamar Jackson had his first playoff win, but Lamar Jackson haven't been a good playoff quarterback. Let's be real. And I don't know, man. I just think that and then when I look at Ben Roethlisberger, I look at his arm issues, and I look how competitive the AFC is, and the AFC North especially. I just don't believe it, man. I just don't believe it. I just really think that it's just a matter of time till the Steelers collapse. The Steelers probably gonna win today, and they're gonna brag about being 5-3 and everything, just to get smoked by the Bengals in 2 weeks. They might get smoked by the Bengals in 2 weeks. Let's be real. You know what the Bengals going to do to the Steelers in 2 weeks?
That'd be a very welcome turn of events. But I will say right now, what's happening is they're kind of looking a little unstoppable against the Steelers right now.
But that's what I'm saying.
I mean, let's the game. We're recording this on Monday night. The game is actually happening right now. Steelers are up 7-0. And it's they're on 3rd and 1 right now, but I mean they just put Najee Harris in the game, and they're just gonna run him right up the middle. He's gonna he's gonna crush right through this Bears defense, which is kind of on and off. And there he goes. He takes the handoff and he's right up the middle. It's just nothing. The Bears ain't got nothing going on. So
they're gonna beat the Bears, and they're gonna beat the Lions, and they're gonna be 6-3. They're gonna be feeling all juiced up and good for themselves. And then we smoked by the Chargers. Then we smoked by the Bengals. Then they're going to barely lose.
I don't know if they're going to get smoked by the Chargers. I don't know if I buy the Chargers right now, to be honest with you.
I mean, see.
I mean, I'm not saying they're not going to lose to the Chargers. But
no, I've been thinking the same thing, dude. I don't know. The AFC is so crazy, man. Because I'm looking at the Titans. I'm like, how the hell y'all that good still without Henry?
Yeah.
The AFC is so crazy, man.
The AFC's nuts. And down goes Roethlisberger, by the way.
Down goes the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, Buffalo Bills lost to the Jacksonville Jaguars. 6-9, by the way.
We'll get to that in the predictions. Nice. But check our predictions, ladies and gentlemen. My whole thing is what I'm getting at is I just think that I'm just looking at this trajectory. I think by mid-December it's going to be Browns and Bengals. I think that game. When is it? January 9th? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to see, because at the end of the day, my thing with I definitely think that the Steelers are gonna get caught up in being too high on themselves, and heck, they could lose today against the Bears. You never know. Anything could really happen. But I don't think the Steelers are built to last this year. And then the Ravens, like I said earlier, they remind me a little bit of that Steelers team from last year. But at the same time, it's just they've just been finding more and more and more creative, weird ways to win, but they've been doing it. And it's not been against bad teams like it was against the Steelers last year. And then you've also got games where they completely blow the pants off the Los Angeles Chargers. So I'm having trouble truly believing that the Baltimore Ravens are complete frauds and that they're just going to fall off and it's going to be Bengals-Browns. I think it could be Bengals-Browns-Ravens. But I don't know if the Ravens are just going to completely fall off.
No, I think the Ravens are going to be a playoff team. I just don't think. Yeah, we'll see.
Anyway, guys, I think that's pretty much going to do it for this episode of the Battle of Ohio podcast. We've been going for a little over an hour now. So I think we're probably going to go ahead and end it here. Thanks for listening. Do me a favor and don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel on YouTube if you want more of our content. Go check us out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Leave us a review if you like it. Or even if you don't like it, leave us a review that way, and then at least we know what we can fix, right? But anyway, you can always find more of what I do at Kyle Phelps 92 on Twitter, Facebook.com/ThePhelps. You can find more of what Thomas does at T_star94 on Twitter and Instagram. Catch me with my Bengals content on atbnetwork.com, and go check out my YouTube channel, Kyle Phelps. I'm doing a show there now called, I'm calling it Welcome to the Jungle with Kyle Phelps, and it's mainly Bengals content, but I also kind of do some stuff covering the whole NFL. And I'm trying to keep to doing 4 to 5 uploads a week, depending on whether I go to a game or not. And even I'm going to try to start producing some content on going to the games. It's just as I was telling Thomas at the beginning of the episode, I had a bunch of my files get deleted on the last game, so I didn't end up getting to actually produce a video for that game. But I'm new to this, and I'm getting it, and we're getting going and everything. But also, speaking of YouTube channels, check out Thomas at Thomas J Network on YouTube.
TJN.
And you can also find him on TikTok, where he's got about, what did you say, 4,000 followers right now?
I have not hit 4,000, but I'm about to hit 4,000. I'm approaching it. I'm at 300. I'm at 3,000. I'm at exactly. Wait, hold on. Let me tell you. I'm at 3,978. Almost there.
All right. Well, there we go. Let's see if we can get him to 4,000, guys. Let's make it happen. But anyway, guys, thanks for listening to this episode. And for now, I'll leave y'all with a hooday.
Go Browns! And Pittsburgh sucks.
Damn right, Pittsburgh sucks.